What is up, guys, and welcome to Redemption Creative. I'm Rami, and today we're going to be learning how to vectorize almost anything in Adobe Illustrator. For today's example, we're going to be using the Redemption Creative logo. As you can see here, I've got two different variations of the logo. One's a PNG image and one's a vectorized, as you can see, clean cut logo mark. So for today's tutorial, what we want to get out is the R part of the logo. The Redemption Creative part is strictly typed that I don't necessarily really need for this. So I'm going to ungroup this and just quickly get rid of that. And even for this, we can crop it because it is an image and just crop out the text like so. Now I'm going to show you guys quickly what I mean and what the differences are. If I zoom in onto the vectorized version, you can see it's clean cut straight lines, perfect for print or display or whatever you might be using it for. And if I zoom into the image version, you can see it's jittery pixelated lines. I'm just going to crop this a little more, even though it doesn't really matter, but just so it's cropped properly. Now what we're going to do is, it's a really simple process. You just simply click the image, you come up here to image trace, it converts the image into a tracing object, and then go over to the image trace panel. Now with here you might go through a bit of trial and error, mucking around with the settings to get the best result you want. The threshold here is the bar you want to work with, less or more. You can also go through the presets. So depending on if you're using an image, which I will show you guys just after this, you can use color, shades of gray, black and white, sketched art, silhouette, line art, whatever really gets the final result that you're looking for. So just working on this, I haven't even really played with it much, but when you have a really clean, simple icon or logo like this, it's quite easy to trace. However, when you're dealing with more complicated pieces of design or something that's got a lot of detail, you might need to muck around with it a little more, which you'll see in the next part of this video. So once you've gotten to a point that you really like and you think that's good, you want to come up here to expand with your image selected. That'll expand all the object. You can then simply ungroup and then just move away all the bits that you don't want, like that. And then I want to select it, click I, so I can get the eyedropper tool, copy the color. And now we've got two identical logos. As you can see, straight lines. It's gone from an image to a vectorized, clean, ready for print or display or whatever it might be design. So for this part of the video, guys, I'm just going to show you guys quickly in Photoshop. I've imported an image of a BMW. I'm going to use the quick selection tool just to remove the background of the image. Now, if the image that you're going to be vectorizing or the object or whatever it is doesn't really have a background that you don't want to be a part of it, you can just simply follow the first steps in the video. However, for this, I'm using the quick selection tool, as you can see, and roughly going around the vehicle to remove the background. Now, there is a better way of doing this if you go ahead and use the pen tool or the magnetic lasso tool, and you can more accurately trace your object or whatever it might be and then remove the background a lot cleanly. But just for the sake of this video, I'm using the quick selection tool. You want to make sure your layer is rasterized like I just did, and then you want to right click and then do layer via cut. That'll split the selection you've made from the background, and you can simply uncheck the background like so. Now, because my cut was really rough and sketchy, I've gone ahead and I'm going to clean up everything by just rubbing it out, selecting the eraser tool, and cleaning up all my edges, as you can see. So after you've cropped the image cleanly and you've saved it as a PNG, we're going to head over back to Illustrator and import our image and follow essentially the same process we did before with the Redemption Creative logo. So the same concept does apply for images. As you can see, when I zoom in, it's quite blurred. However, when we use the image trace tool, it's not going to be so much as an image as a graphic element. You'll notice now when I click the image trace tool, sometimes this may take a while to load up for you guys, so keep that in mind and be a bit patient depending on your computer specs. But you can create a cool, quick silhouette of a car or whatever it might be with just really simply selecting image trace, as I'm showing you here. However, if you do want to have something that replicates the image more accurately, you may want to play around with the settings a little more. So we're going to go into the image trace panel and play around with the settings. Now, because our image had color and we do want to include as much color as possible, we've selected the 16 colors preset. However, as you can see before, when we did the logo, it had the threshold bar that we can work with. This time we're going to be working with colors, and like I said earlier, it may take a little while to load up because it is going through the process of getting all the details of the image together. So once that's been completed, you'll notice that depending on your image, obviously 16 colors is more than enough for the image I selected. You may need to play with that a little more. But when we zoom in, you can see it's actually made up of all these little graphic elements that make the image. So once you click on the image and we go over to the expand, that'll separate everything into these separate little shapes and layers that we can then amend, change color, do whatever we want to. So what I've done here is I've ungrouped the layer after expanding it and removed the white background, but because there were some elements from the actual image that we want to keep that were white and connected to the background, they may get deleted because it gets read as part of the image. So as you can see here with the spoiler and the rear part of the car, you can see that little part there gets taken out. So what I'm going to do is just quickly go over that and clean it up using the pencil and just filling those parts out. So sometimes you may need to put in a little bit of extra effort just to get the perfect result that you want, but in the end it's probably one of the quickest ways to go about doing this, and isn't too hard to replicate for whatever image, logo, icon, whatever it might be that you're trying to do. So what I do end up doing here is curving using the direct selection tool, something we covered in the previous video. If you haven't seen that, be sure to go check that out. But that about covers everything with the image trace for now. We've covered the icon, logo, simple object tracing, as well as an image and the kind of results you can expect to achieve when doing it with an image that has a lot more detail than obviously a simple icon or logo for a design. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. I do find this to be a pretty great way of like reusing images when you can't find a clean proper photo of them, a little image manipulation to get rid of any blur that might need prevalent, or you know, if it's a really small sized image that you don't want to be printed out on a larger scale and you don't want it to be something that's going to be blurry, you can always use this method to sort of clean it up and have it ready for print without ruining the quality of the image, in fact improving it if anything. So this video was a quick one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a comment, let me know what you thought. You comment if you after anything else in the Adobe suite that you'd like to learn or would like to know about, or anything, really anything in particular, or any feedback, much appreciated. A like would go a long way if you enjoyed the video, if it helped you, and make sure to subscribe as well to see and keep up to date with the new videos to come. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.